Is anyone actually going to stop Mercedes in 2026? 2 races in, 2 dominant wins, a sprint victory on top, and already a lot of people are talking as if both championships are signed, sealed, and on their way to Brackley. But is that really how this season ends? Or are there real structural reasons to believe that Mercedes' grip on this new era can still be broken? In this video, we're going to cut through the hype and look at the cold, technical reality of who can stop Mercedes in 2026 and how. Let's start with where Mercedes actually is. Yes, they're clearly ahead. They've locked out 1-2s, they're strong in qualifying, and when the car gets into clear air, nobody has lived with their race pace so far. But this is not 2014 all over again. Back then, the performance gap was massive. In 2026, the advantage is real, but it's measured in tenths, not in entire categories of performance. We've already seen moments, especially with Ferrari, where the gap has compressed over a single weekend. 8 tenths in one race, 6 tenths in practice, 4 tenths in qualifying. That tells us 2 things. First, Mercedes has built the best overall package for this rule set. Power unit, deployment, chassis, suspension, and tire management are working in sync. Second, the margin is not so huge that it's untouchable over a season-long development race. This is a strong starting point. It is not an automatic title double. The heart of Mercedes' early dominance is the power unit. Under race conditions, they seem to be extracting more performance through a higher effective compression ratio and extremely efficient electrical deployment. That gives them straight-line speed and acceleration that others simply don't have right now, especially at the end of the straights. But that advantage is already under the microscope. Additional testing is coming, and the regulations are expected to be tightened around compression ratios and how far teams can push the hybrid mapping. If that happens mid-season, 2 scenarios open up. Scenario 1, Mercedes' trick is largely legal in spirit and survives the clarification. Their advantage shrinks a little, but the underlying car is still strong enough to stay in front. Scenario 2, the clarification actually bites. The power unit is pulled back, and a big chunk of the gap disappears almost overnight, especially on power-sensitive tracks. This is the first big way Mercedes can be stopped by the rulebook, not through penalties or politics, but through the natural process of the FIA closing loopholes once it understands exactly where the performance is coming from. If you're Ferrari, McLaren, or Red Bull, you are absolutely banking on that reset. Out of everyone chasing, Ferrari is the only team that currently looks like a genuine season-long threat. Why? Because the foundations are already there. Their starts are explosive, both drivers are comfortable with the new car concept, and crucially, the technical department is showing signs of real creativity. Unconventional rear wing concepts, aggressive packaging around the rear, and clever aero furniture around the halo and exhaust. The raw race pace isn't there yet. Over a full stint, Mercedes stretches away, particularly on the harder compounds where tire management and suspension behavior matter most. But if Ferrari can translate their qualifying flashes into consistent race pace and keep closing that gap by a couple of tenths every upgrade package, then we could very easily reach a point mid-season where Ferrari is fast enough to punish any Mercedes mistake, any reliability issue, or any internal conflict. Ferrari doesn't need to dominate, they just need enough pace to keep the championship open. What about McLaren and Red Bull? Right now, they're not in the conversation for beating Mercedes over a full season. DNSs, reliability problems, and cars that are fundamentally not on the same level in 2026 mean they're starting this era on the back foot. But we've seen this film before. McLaren turned a mediocre 2023 into a title challenge in 2025 through relentless development. Red Bull has already shown over the last decade that they can outdevelop almost anyone once they understand the car's weaknesses. So the question isn't, can McLaren or Red Bull beat Mercedes next weekend? It's, can they develop fast enough that by the final third of the season, Mercedes is no longer the reference? Even if they don't steal the Constructors' title, there is a very realistic scenario where Mercedes locks in the team's championship early, but one of the chasing teams finds a late-season sweet spot and becomes the car to beat on Sunday afternoons, and that's where the Drivers' Championship gets interesting.
Because the biggest threat to Mercedes in 2026 might not be red cars, papaya cars, or blue cars. It might be silver on silver. Inside the team, Russell and Antonelli are already in what looks like a private title fight. The points gap is tiny, both have shown front-running pace, and both know that this season could define their long-term status inside Mercedes. Historically, when you put two top-tier drivers in a dominant car, you open the door to points lost through teammate battles, strategic compromises to keep both sides of the garage happy, and, in the worst case, flashpoints that cost the team wins. If one driver clearly asserts dominance by mid-season, Mercedes probably walks both titles. If not, if Russell and Antonelli keep trading blows, while Ferrari or a late-surging McLaren Red Bull get their act together, then the Drivers' Championship can stay open much longer than the raw pace would suggest. Add to that the first signs of reliability concerns like Russell's qualifying issue in China, and external factors such as calendar disruptions and extra development time due to cancelled races, and suddenly the path to a clean Mercedes sweep is not as straightforward as it looks.
So, who can stop Mercedes in 2026? The regulations can, Ferrari can, a late-charging McLaren or Red Bull can, but above all, Mercedes themselves can, through development missteps, reliability slips, or a driver's battle that costs them points they can't afford to lose. Right now, they're the benchmark of F1's new era. Whether they stay there depends on how they handle the pressure of being back on top. If you enjoyed this kind of deeper, technical look at the 2026 season, make sure to subscribe. We're just getting started with this new era.